Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, October the 7th, 2021. It is Thursday of the 27th week of the year, but it is also the memorial of Our Lady of the Rosary. Coming to you this morning from the Great Green Slope with the labyrinth in the background, our chapel, Bell Tower, Carillon right there, St. Francis Hall, the community center, right here on the other side of me, and then behind me, over here, Siena Hall, the second one of two buildings that form the upper school and for the Franciscan school, and our offices for formation, for catechetical formation. Our Lady of the Rosary is a very strange, in many ways, memorial. People do not often realize this because they associate the Rosary with Our Lady, yes, and with peace and with calm and praying and things like that. Its origin, however, is a little bit darker because its origin is unfortunately within a terrible naval battle that happened in the late 16th century, late 1500s, between the forces of Christianity and the forces of Islam, in one of those awful, terrible wars of religion and wars of conquest and wars of all kinds of things that religion got involved with, and Christianity, unfortunately, got its fair share of black eyes. And so this great naval battle that invoked the power of the Blessed Mother defeated in a very tragic and horrendous way the forces of the Muslim armies that were trying to get more land and come into more areas within Europe. And again, Mary is credited with this great victory in the in this naval battle, and she's often referred to also as Our Lady of Victory because of this. Again, to associate the Blessed Mother with something that is bloody and terrible and warlike and aggressive and all kinds of things like that just really runs counter to everything that A, Mary is, and B, Christianity is also. And so it's how do we look at this day and how do we understand this day, more importantly. Not a victory of one religion over another in a bloody, terrible, awful way, but perhaps as a way in which reconciliation can be a way in which we approach each other. Kindness and understanding, respect, love, forgiveness, all those other kinds of things that Jesus preached in his earthly life, that Mary also perhaps understood should be the cause that we embrace always as believers in this world. And so today there are two readings, which aren't necessarily, there are special readings in one way for Our Lady of the Rosary, but they're basically Marian readings. But the readings for today are very interesting because the prophet Malachi comes into view, and Malachi basically says to the people of Israel, there are people who understand what's going on and people who don't. The people who understand what's going on are going to prosper, and those who do not, unfortunately, will have their own consequences of their own actions, to pay for themselves. And so Malachi again forecasts, again, sort of doom and destruction upon those who do not follow the will of God, and for success for those who will. The understanding again is always that God will be a part of the life of people who accept Him, and God will be a part of the life of people who try to follow as best they can what it is that God has to say. It is not, about, this. It's not about a choice that is, either or, but always a choice that is both and. And for those who fear making that choice, it is the responsibility of those who have made the choice to be able to encourage and support them so that all people may experience this wonder, this glory, and this love of God in their lives. Luke's gospel is again another one of Jesus's pithy sayings, in one way, about, again, asking you shall receive. Again, the friend who comes, asking for a loaf of bread from another friend late at night because guests have arrived at the other friend's house. There's too many friends. It goes back and forth. But again, the idea of persistence, that if you persist, God continues to hear you. And it's not that God has to be pushed to act. It's not as though we have to pull out all the stops so that God acts. It's the understanding always is that God will give us what it is that we need, and we should never be afraid to badger God, because that's what Jesus is actually saying. Again and again, badger the Lord. Again and again, badger the Lord, because this is what God wants us to be able to realize, that God offers us what it is that we need. God answers our needs, but perhaps not in the ways that we might expect, and not in the ways we might anticipate, and not in the ways perhaps that we think are best and right. God still answers us, and to be able to receive how God answers us is important for embracing lives that are filled with hope, that are filled with joy, that are filled with love. And may the Lord give you His peace.